So where the previous session might be a bit dry, we now have a more interesting session because we now want to accelerate your own innovative mindset. And we do this by using a short clip from a TED Talk in Berkeley. We highly recommend, of course, watching the clip, but we're going to apply the tips the speaker gives us on the Koios framework. Keep in mind that you can also apply this on your own when you want to learn yourself better or you want to learn your eventual final goals in a better way. So we're going to apply it at Koios. We challenge you to apply it on yourself as well. So the first one is, the first tip you will get is start with the desire to make a change or make a meaning, especially focus on the word meaning as opposed to making money, where money is a mean for a higher meaning. Find that higher meaning, not only for yourself but also for your ID. The money will follow. That's a short recap there. So in our case, we actually strongly believe that education is a very powerful tool indeed, as Nelson Mandela said, to change the world. And we believe that if we improve education, we improve the people following through that education, eventually leading to a better world. So that's our way to contribute to society. And we do need to figure out some parts of the business model, for example, because passing out free information and free knowledge is not a very sustainable model if you want to incentivize developers to build. But for that, we're going to learn you or teach you all about in token economics on how to incentivize people. So make a mantra. Find your own personal ikigai. If you're not familiar with this model, look it up. It's written down here. If you type it in Google, use that form. Use it to discover yourself. In short, do what you love, do what you do well, do where you can earn a little bit of money with it. And there's a fourth one, which and actually, of course, that has a meaning in the world. That creates a better world. So that's also the connection with the first dot. So make a mantra. In our case, we have two mantras. The current mantras are content is king, as opposed to cash is king. And the second one is freedom through education, because we strongly believe in social freedom and individual freedom. And freedom is, of course, a very wide topic. So the third one is jump to the next curve. Be careful, don't define yourself of what you do, but in what you believe. And that's also the main message from the Simon Sinek movie, or the short clip, where find your why. And by aiming high, aiming truly high, like radical innovation, not incremental innovation, but by jumping the next curve, you might end up somewhere in the middle and still radically innovate some new systems. So roll the dice. In our case, we had a lot of discussions about the elegancy of the product. How are you going to do the design, the totality, how far do you go? The content, for example, is a very good example of this, because we have, as you might have noticed already, a huge amount of content, and it's very hard for us to determine how much content can you handle. It also depends on the different types of students. One student can go very deep, another one wants to go very broad. We want to make it flexible and personal. So in our case, we're doing our utmost best to make a full package, but we're far, far away from that phase, of course, already. But aim high and aim elegant. So as Steve Jobs once mentioned, is create insanely great experiences. Also, to make a bridge to the fifth point, if you don't succeed, don't worry, be crappy. The insanely great experiences aren't there from the very first part. If you don't succeed in your fully elegant version or your fully greatly insane experience, don't worry, be crappy. It's a learning process. You build towards your final goal. And even if you're there, you're most likely can look further beyond. I think there's a famous saying like try to envision as far as you can and try to get there. And if you're there, you can vision way, way further ahead. And that's when you start accelerating your mind. So bring yourself up, expand your mind, bring yourself up to the next level. So let 100 flowers blossom, and don't be proud and let others reform your product. For personal experiences, I had a very different vision of where we might end up as we currently are. For example, the media player is currently being redesigned, and the team is building something entirely different than what I personally thought was being built in the very first time. So the very first version in 0.0.1 was the media player where you have the videos below each other. And as you might notice now is that you will have a version 2 where you are getting sucked into the application, which makes it a more fuller, more richer experience, which is suited for mobile first in this case. So what you're seeing there is that you should let it go and let other people bring your ID to the next level and make it their ID as well. So it's a joint effort, and by joining forces together, by building upon each other's strengths, you might be able to eliminate each other's faults and as well create synergy during the processes, and eventually by keep iterating your product, bring it to a level where you can actually create those insane experiences. So let 100 blossom, and in this case, if you think the product sucks, let us know, give us the feedback. That's why we keep harassing you with the feedback. And that's the sole reason why we want to keep improving, because we strongly, once back, believe that if we accelerate you via your personal preferences and we can actually inspire you to become the best version of yourself, we believe that everybody will be better off. Not only you, but also the people surrounding you. And imagine a world where everybody has access to that type of system. And that's one of our goals. Do keep in mind point number 7. Not everybody will love this concept. We already encounter a lot of friction, of course, not only within the university, but also outside the university. Not everybody likes that you are passing out knowledge for free or connecting everybody for free, because you're disrupting a lot of day-to-day jobs or businesses. And if we actually are able to pull this one off, you might radically innovate an entirely new system, which is better for the users and which is most likely better for society, we believe at least. But not every job is going to look the same after we're done. So for example, a teacher might be more of a coach, where an online content creator divulges you in the content and the teacher coaches you through that content. Which means you can't stick in the same program, and every time you need to update yourself as a lecturer as well. So it will ask more of a lecturer or ask different properties from a lecturer. And not everybody is happy with that. So you will have people who love your product and people who don't like the product. Of course, you will try to help both worlds, but sometimes it's just a given fact that some people are positively orientated towards you and your product, and others are more negatively orientated. Accept it, embrace it, and continue. And in that case, churn, baby, churn. Version 0.0.1 already mentioned, the previous player. Now we will go to 0.0.2. By keep iterating the content, by keep receiving feedback and increasing your feedback loop, so the range of your feedback loop, in our case more students asking for their feedback, and by actually implementing the free tips you're giving us into our product, we continuously keep improving ourselves as well. And other than that, change, keep evolving it. And the next challenge though is that not only we ourselves keep changing it, but it will open up where others can contribute their changes as well. How to incentivize people to do that we will learn in the second week about token economics. Final view is that niche thyself, be unique. That's a difficult one, of course. Well, in our case, our unique selling point is that we are building partly on blockchain technology, so that you yourself will be owning your own data. And we're not creating a business or a product or a service. We actually aim to create, or we are aiming to create a common, where education is be seen as a common, where education is free, connecting is free, and where people incentivize each other. So where a student might be paying up $1 to follow a course, and if 1,000 people pay that $1, you might be paying up your content creator or your teacher in this case. Just a stupid, quick example. Perfect your pitch. Yeah, we still need some help with that. We still have not a very well slide deck. There is in general a 10, 20, 30 rule, so not more than 10 slides, done in 20 minutes, and the font size is 30 points. In our case, we moved from 25 slides to 1 slide to 15 slides, and we keep iterating the pitch deck because we keep evolving and moving towards different directions. As mentioned, we focused on the product and not on the product to market phase. So we're mainly focusing on getting the product as high quality as possible, and then we will figure out on how to bring the pitch decks, etc. So focusing on producing first, and we will look at financing later on, as soon as we're short of finance. Currently, we're all set to go, so we can keep shooting materials. And in that regard, don't let the bosses grind you down. Yeah, I can tell you this, it's hard to innovate in a system that's slowly moving. We already received a lot of friction, like you can't do this, you can't do that, you can't do blah, 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 blah. In other words, people have different opinions of where you should go. It's great to listen to those opinions because there's a lot of value in it. But it's more importantly that you stick with something that suits you fine, because you have a certain vision, you have a certain why, you're a certain ikigai where you're going for. And if you're building something, follow your guts. And with that final note, I want to finish this session off. Do keep a close look at the slides and the further readings. There are very interesting tips from Steve Jobs himself in it. Especially fill in the ikigai, find your true purpose, or at least discover your path towards a purpose. And if you're done finding yourself, we will see you in the next second part of this week, where we're going to talk about blockchain innovations. So how to innovate blockchains specifically. For now, that's a wrap. Thank you very much for this first week, and see you in the next session.